I'm Bob Adam from Beaver Lake, Nebraska. The floating dock is a ShoreMaster, and the lift is a new lift, ShoreMaster. I wouldn't have a new one. I had it previously, but I have a newer boat and I need a larger lift. We're back to ShoreMaster again. It was a great investment the first time, and even better this time because it also has the remote control, and that's the ideal way to go. If you're going to have a lift, you might as well have the remote control. Yeah, you'll use the boat a lot more if you have the remote control easy lift. It's a very solid lift. Nice thing about it is the canvas stays down in windy days. You don't have rain going in. It's just been a great product all around. And I really like the heavy, this is the 5,000 pound lift, and picks the boat up with no trouble at all. Party Craft by Godfrey. It's brand new, 2009. My cousin did take the other lift and bought the other lift from me, the other ShoreMaster, and he's loving it too because even though it doesn't have the remote, it does have the motor with the wheel.
Yep. And
he had a crank before, and he loves it now. So this has been a real good deal for him too. He's really enjoyed it. Although he is spoiled when he comes over here, so I think we'll be looking at probably upgrading his lift after a couple of years. It is kind of, I was just mentioning my neighbor the other day that I really almost like the lift better than the boat because it just makes it so much more convenient. You can put any boat in here, but it's the lift that really makes the difference. It's rock solid. It, like I said, just lifts really well. And the remote feature is ideal. Also with the light feature, it has a light where we didn't have in the past, so you had to work around lighting and running off yard lights. So this light feature is a big plus also. It's even when we moved my other old lift, everything was still intact, and we were able to drop the legs, being steel bolts. They just worked magnificently. His old lift, we had to hacksaw a few bolts off, so it really makes a difference on the way this lift's made. Now, as for the dock, the floating dock's been really good. I like it for the feature of having the water rising and lowering at times, so it does serve its purpose. I like the docks my neighbor has, is another ShoreMaster product, and it seems like this is an excellent product. So it works really well for up and down.
Do that.
It definitely makes you want to go out and use the boat more often. It makes you really appreciate it. And you know, the convenient feature of lowering it down so people can actually, you know, I of course as a Party Craft as a pontoon, it's easier on and off, but with the lowering it down and holding on to it is right close by, everyone gets on. It's not like before. Even with the other dock, it was good, but it bounced around. This dock is just fantastic. Just a lot more convenient. Makes you really want to get out there. And I noticed my wife said the same thing, that she really appreciates the dock because, or the lift, because you can just jump on and take off and not have to worry about it. We need a larger one because of the larger boat, and that was the only reason we traded off. Otherwise, I would have kept the other ShoreMaster. Oh yeah, so the longer vinyl helps out a lot. It's great material because our past vinyl was 20 years old, and it held up perfectly. It seemed like it picked up some dirt, and all we used was a scrubber on it and a scrubbing pad, and it came right off and looked like brand new. And this one's holding up just as well. Of course, it is newer, but it's a heavier material, definitely a better product. But it's just the knowing, you know, the cabling too is, everything is just solid. It makes it a lot easier. And then of course the length, yeah, it does. It's nice to cover the whole boat. And but yeah, it really stays down even in the hardest winds, and it's nice not to have your boat worry about getting wet. It's probably not as hard now with a pontoon. They dry out easier and not worry about water, but knowing the product from the past when we had our other open bow, keeping water out was essential, and this particular product keeps it out, no matter what the weather is. Okay, it makes it more convenient, and anytime anything's convenient, you're going to use it more. And that's the big plus about this, especially with the remote control. And then with the dock system, it gets you out here where you can actually utilize it. And then we've actually, when the water has been low, we've been able to split them apart and use them farther out. Well, the lifts in the past, the other ShoreMaster lift I had really didn't have, other than greasing it, that was the only thing. I did have a wheel get damaged in a storm, but that was easily replaced by my ShoreMaster rep, and we replaced that with no trouble at all. So, and after 20 years, we finally replaced the cable on it, which to me that's pretty good lifetime on that. Now, this is the yellow float. That's from ShoreMaster too, right? And that's been an excellent buy. The bright yellow, I'm glad to see they went with tan because it would have matched my dock. But the yellow is great at night, though everyone can see it. Everyone plays on it at least every time they're out here, and it's been a well worth purchase too. Mm-hmm. Really like that. It held up real well too, and it's. I really like the lift is fantastic. I mean, it's easily moved too. I mean, we've moved things around a few times as the water moved, and it was easy to pick up. The foot plates seem to work real well, so that in and out. Mm-hmm. But the new access to the remote control is a big plus, because, like I said, you can judge the height. You don't have to have it all the way down, and that way, folks can get on and still have some out of the water where you're not moving yet, and keep it from the boat from pitching inside the dock or the lift. So it helps out a whole lot, and just the convenience to be able to pull in and then raise it immediately without having to run out and stumble over folks to get to the lift in order to keep it from pitching. So the one feature though is I really like on the remote itself too is the lock button, because my salesman told me that put the lock on as many times as possible, and once I didn't, and it's really easy for it to trip off in your pocket and start raising or lowering your boat without knowing it. So having that lock feature is a real plus.
Okay.
Now if we can just push a button and have a beer come out.
Oh.